Good morning, everyone. It's Caitlin, and I'm here at Franklin Park Zoo this morning on a beautiful morning. So if you see behind me, we are at our Aussie Aviary, which is an exhibit that a lot of you probably know who have come to the zoo. It's a really popular exhibit here at the zoo. And of course, our featured bird in here is our budgie. So we are going to head in and take a look at them. We're also going to take a look at some of the other birds and actually reptiles that are in here so that when you guys come, you can look out for them. So what we're going to show you is how to go into the exhibit and then go looking at all of the birds. You might be able to hear them in the background. They're very loud because we have a lot of them in here. So we are, if any of you don't know and maybe are new to coming to the zoo, we are in our Birds World outdoor area, and the budgies live basically diagonally across from the kangaroos. So you'll probably see and hear them when you come to the zoo because they're very bright, vibrant colors and they're very loud. So you'll probably see that. But it is open right now, so you are able to come through. But we'll just show you that we are asking that there's only 8 guests in at a time to make sure that we're able to socially distance and to be able to move through the exhibit and let another group come through. So we're gonna head on in, opening one door at a time to keep the birds safe. So open up one, let it close, and then open up the other one. And then we are inside. So it's a beautiful morning. So I think that they're enjoying the sun this morning. And what we do have, I'll show you here, and I'm putting some gloves on just to be extra safe and cautious with our birds during this time. Because if any of you have come and visited, you probably know that we are not doing feed sticks this year. Typically, in other summers at Budgie, you are able to get a feed stick with pretty much these little seeds on there. And the budgies will come over and take some of that food. But this year, for a lot of different reasons, we are not doing that to make sure that the budgies, as well as the staff, as well as the guests, can all stay safe. So these little, they're basically little seed balls because that is what these budgies eat. Almost all seeds. In their natural range in Australia, they are found almost all over Australia, and they are seed eaters. So I'm going to try to point out what we call our natural coloring of budgies, which is the green and yellow birds that have a little bit of black on their wings. There are a lot of those in here. But you probably will also see blues and whites and almost purpley color. We're going to move this way so you can get a better look at that. And that's because budgies have become a popular pet. And because of that, they have been bred to have many different color variations because humans tend to like different variations. So that is how this all came about. So you'll see there's a almost all yellow one, kind of towards the bottom, a little bit of teal. So all sorts of different colors in here. And they are quite active this morning, flying all around. And this is also a time in the morning when they get their food. So because they haven't been feeding this year, they're not as used to coming over to get food since they've had their food put out for them in the morning. So we'll show you what one of those dishes looks like. But budgies in their natural range in Australia, what they typically do in the morning is all go to a watering hole. So they can live in pretty large groups, and they will go to a watering hole in the morning to get water. And that is because the seeds that they eat do not offer them a lot of water. So they have to make sure they go and get water. There are some animals that the food that they eat, whether it's leaves or other things like that, that provides a lot of water for them. The seeds don't really do that for the budgies. So they all kind of congregate in a spot in the morning to get water, which is a really cool time. It'd probably be an amazing thing to see in their natural range. But we kind of mimic that here with having a water source for them. And you will see them going down. The other day when I was in here, I saw a bunch of them down there getting some water. But this exhibit, we also share it with some other friends. So we have our black swan down here, who was also being pretty vocal when we came in this morning. And there are some other ducks in this exhibit, as well as a cool one for you guys to try to spot when you come. I can see her now, but it's probably going to be really hard to see on the camera. In the water, we have one of our other turtles, a cooter named Eve. So she is in here as well. So when you come, you can try to see if you can spot her as well. So we can show you what we were talking about with these food dishes over here. If we just want to take a look, on the move. So right down here, see where it's hanging from the tree? Those are a whole bunch of sea balls that were put out for them this morning. So you'll see one's at it right now, getting some food. So they'll have those around their exhibit, and that is where they'll go to get their food. And so as you guys kind of just saw them flying through like that, I was in here the other day, and it was really cool to see that, although probably a little scary for them, there was a hawk above. And when that happens, they almost all gather together, fly in one direction of the exhibit, and then it gets quiet. So you'll hear that they're very loud this morning, but when they do see or hear a predator, such as a hawk, they will all try to go to one spot, stay very still and quiet to hopefully avoid alerting the predator, which was a really cool thing to see, them all doing that together. So they're finding all different things all around here, all of the different seeds that are put out and about that may have dropped on the ground. So you'll see them all on the ground over here. And they also have, right where you see them on this ledge here, that is actually where their house is. So if they want to go inside, they can go inside. There's little holes that provide them a space to go in. You'll see there's obviously a whole bunch out here, but there's some inside as well. And then as the weather gets cooler, budgies, because they're an Australian bird that is used to high temperatures, cannot stay out all winter. So that's why this is a very popular exhibit in the summer months, because that is when the budgies are out and active. And then as the temperatures start dropping, mainly into later fall, the budgies start deciding to come out less and less as the weather gets colder and colder. So then as winter is here, they do spend a lot of their time inside, and they will on kind of moderate temperature days of the winter, they'll have access to outside, but they do spend a lot of their time inside, so we can make sure that they're nice and warm, getting all the food that they need and shelter. So that's why in the winter months, you won't see them as much out here. Oh, yeah.
Zach wants to know if they have names.
Oh, that is a great question, Zach. But we have a lot. So I think it's really tricky. And I think the keepers, there are some that probably have very specific names. The keepers probably give them some nicknames, but it's very hard to tell them apart. So with a lot of these birds, they have bands on their legs. to be able to determine which bird it is. Because they can, of course, you'll see those that are of similar color, it would be very hard to tell them apart. So with this many birds, we usually use those bands to make sure that we're properly identifying them. But that's a great question.
And how many are there?
About 300 in here. I know that seems like a large number, but like I said, there's some that are inside too and outside. So that's kind of our average number in here.
Could you remind us what they eat?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So they eat mainly seeds. That's the biggest thing that they eat. They will eat some other fruits and vegetables in their natural range. But as you saw those seed balls that I showed at the beginning and that are in that dish over there, that is the main diet they get here at the zoo, because that is almost all they would be eating in their natural range as well. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here in our budgie exhibit this morning. So those of you that maybe are just joining or see this a little bit later, we do have our Aussie Aviary in the Birds World area here at Franklin Park Zoo. And they're gonna be open for hopefully a little bit longer into the fall, but it is weather dependent for them. So they will, as the weather drops, they will start going inside, and that's when we usually have to close this area down. But you can still see them from the outside if they do choose to come out. But if you want to get a chance to see them before the warm weather leaves, please come and visit us, and you can come in and get a nice up-close look at all of our budgie friends. So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you soon.